Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else, and welcome back to the 12th iteration of the Tenax Proving Grounds tournament. My name is Amy, and today I'm joined by Stumpy. Stumpy, it's so good to have you here again. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. It's always good when you're in for a 10x proving ground. It's always lots of fun. And
Yes,
tonight looks like it's going to be loads and loads of fun.
absolutely. We will have two great semifinals between Team Revent and Team Rocket, as well as Team Imperium versus Team Gorilla. So definitely a couple of fan favorites in the mix to keep your eyes out for. Who do you think is gonna make a deep run here to the grand finals?
I think the obvious answer would be Gorilla and Team Rocket in the final, but could we see one of the other two cause an upset? Absolutely. Anything can happen here, and not so much rooting for it, but we'd love to see it.
Yeah, for sure. It's always nice to have a little bit of an underdog story happening right before our eyes. And unfortunately, we have some news on the back end that we're working around right now. But it seems that we'll be broadcasting Imperium versus Gorilla. If you are not familiar with Team Gorilla, it's basically Team Invictus and friends, which
Pretty much.
yeah, you've got Spitz as the captain, I guess, as well as Dan, Kexo, Anya, and Obi, which is an absolutely incredible roster. Definitely the favorites in here and have won in the past. And they are versing Team Imperium, which is a pretty new team that's competing in Tenax for the first time. They consist of Keelan, Hope, Kiki, Elon, Maka, Apophis, and Delance. I hope I did not butcher those. But yeah, they made their way all the way here to the semifinals. So hopefully they will be able to put up a fight. And the sets that we have today are Dark Lord, The Unknown, and what's the last one again? Please give me a quick reminder.
The Lich.
The Lich, wonderful. Absolutely amazing. Really fun sets. Is there anyone that you are looking forward to in particular?
I actually really enjoy seeing unknown sets. I know he's not particularly the strongest one out of those three, but he's always fun to watch. It's always exciting to see how people use his power and how they go for some of the stranger or more wonderful shots that maybe shoot through places you mightn't expect them to and things like that. Because every killer these players would play on, they've put hours and hours into, so they'll have tried just about everything, and they're a good sort of staple to put yourself against.
Yes, for sure. And there's been a lot of shakeups when it comes to the unknown. The unknown started out as a very, very interesting killer who, upon his introduction to the competitive scene, would oftentimes 4K, mostly 4K1, sometimes 4K2, relying on a very heavy Ruin, Pentimento, Undying build. But as time went on, he earned himself the title of the Harmless. Players just figured out how to counterplay properly, how to get the altruism going against this killer who has such a hard time to get injuries with the very hard to hit UVX projectile. And over the times, the survivor loadouts have become more and more restricted. We've also moved the unknown from Wrecker's Yard, where they were originally played a bunch, to Dead Sense, which is the, well, Eerie of Crows map or Forsaken Boneyard map. Um, that has a layout similar to Wrecker's Yard. But compared to Wrecker's Yard, it does spawn those double pallets that are very, very strong, but it has less tiles. And once the double pallets have been used, they are gone. So very, very few resources for the survivors to work with. Just making sure that our harmless maybe becomes a little more harmful.
Yeah, I think those double pallets as well. If there's one killer that can use them to his advantage, it could be the unknown because of the shots he could hit, or maybe bounce his projectile off them, or just there's some cool things he can definitely do. It's just a question of whether our killers decide to do it today, or if they go for just, okay, I'm only taking a shot on here if it's directly going to hit.
Yeah, it's all about zoning, it's all about faking your power. It's all about, is the unknown gonna use the UVX? Are they gonna go for an M1 instead? And honestly, depending on the way the UVX decides to behave, the unknown can be so frustrating for the killer player because some of the shots just bounce off the most random objective and you lose all the process or progress that you've been working towards for the last 15 seconds, and you extend the chase by such a long time. And luckily for the unknown on this patch, it's very hard to get a pallet save, which means
Mhm.
that at least once the unknown gets it down, they are more likely to actually convert it into hook stage as well. So maybe that is something to look out for.
One thing I do love about him as well is these the survivors we're going to see will always have it in their head against killers. You've got to hug loops tightly. You've got to go around those walls. Don't give any space. But with the unknown, it's completely different. If you hug like the corner of Shaq, for example, too tightly, he can shoot his projectile
Oh,
there,
yeah.
get you through that wall, and punish you. So it's completely different, and the mind games that go on because of that are completely different, which is nice to see.
Also, one interesting note, I know that Zeno is the unknown player for Team Elysium, so I've never actually seen Obi on the killer. I am sure he will show a lot of proficiency regardless, just being a very experienced killer player. Unfortunately, I don't have a ton of information on Team Imperium right now. I'm very sorry. We were originally planning to broadcast a different match, but I think we will see how their game develops throughout this semifinals. We also have Dark Lord on Family Residence 2, which is a map that has been experimented with quite a bit for Dark Lord. Definitely, it leads to a lot of 4Ks, makes him very lethal, especially when he was newer to the roster in the comp scene. We've seen him on Family Residence last time, where we had Team Mercy facing off against Team Summer. I think Merged got an incredible result of 4K3. Uh, Maybe we can see a repeat of something crazy like that. It just always depends on how well you can dodge that Hellfire, or if you get hit and you get stuck on a not so safe loop, just to get pounced on by the wolf form right after.
Yeah, the Dark Lord seems to be a really popular pick, and as you alluded to there, because he has multiple powers, multiple ways to get after the survivors, that's probably why he's so popular. There'd be killers that prefer to run primarily in dog form. There'd be killers that primarily want to use his Hellfire, but everyone that seems to play him in Tenax has a good understanding of each one and when to use it, and it's great to see because you get a better idea when you're watching a killer as complicated as he can be and seeing how well they play him. So like you're watching and maybe you don't use the bats as much yourself, but then you see here, oh, look at how they're using the bats effectively. It can be really educating. So I can watching Dark
Yes,
Lord.
for sure. And again, Dark Lord is Team Gorilla's pick. I have seen Spitz play Dark Lord for Invictus once. I think it was a bit of a sub roster at that time, but he still got decent results. But I've also seen Obi take over the role of the Dark Lord for Elysium when Xeno was not available with great success as well. So definitely, definitely looking pretty solid on that. And I know that the unknown has not been picked a ton by Team Invictus. So maybe the survivor roster can be a tiny bit rusty. Maybe that's how Imperium is able to get their advantage. Maybe get up to 1-0 or something. And in case of a tiebreaker, we have another set that is starting to become uh, well, maybe a recurring guest on Tenax. It is the Lich on Forgotten Ruins. It's very on map, and the last time we've seen it, it was quite interesting to watch.
Yeah, Forgotten Runes. He's got the home advantage, but another killer with multiple powers and another killer that they'll have put a lot of time into, and we're going to see a lot of skillful players on. So it could be Dracula 2.0 in terms of the skills on show, but hopefully we do get there and we get a really exciting game.
Yes, I always love a good tiebreaker. Of course, Imperium is the heavy underdog here, so it would be really cool to see them play a good match on the unknown, maybe take an upset victory on the Dark Lord. It's always possible. This is a best of three, as opposed to the best of ones that got our teams into the grand finals. So your skills are really being tested. It's more of a consistency thing rather than getting lucky in a best of one once and somehow advancing. No, these teams deserve to be here. They've won their fair share of games and now they're ready to show it off on the broadcast. And hopefully we will be able to broadcast the qualifiers again. There is definitely plans to do so. So if you're a small team and you're looking to get broadcast by Tenax, we see you, we want you, and we will return to getting you back on the stream shortly. Unfortunately, not this time just yet. The last time we've seen the Lich on Forgotten Ruins, I think Wispy got a 4K1 after a pretty solid survivor performance from Team Mercy, and then Merged was struggling to find the tunnel out onto Wispy. Maybe, yeah, I'm not gonna say egoing, but trying to really confirm that tunnel out when maybe it was already too late, causing Team Summer to get a bunch of outs and deciding their grand finals, leading to Team Summer winning the 11th Proving Grounds. So that was really cool to see. And yeah, I think Zeno also plays Lich for Elysium. And for Invictus, of course, it's Pedro. So I'm not sure who would be the Lich player when we get there. But again, these top tier killer players, they are very versatile. They have great game knowledge. They know how to play any map, any matchup. I don't think Obi is going to be thrown into too much of unfamiliar situation here.
Yeah, I think the really exciting thing about this semi-final is if you're Imperium, you have nothing to lose. You're going up against the undisputed favorites, and you might as well just throw yourself fully at this. That's why we're going to see a team with nothing to lose, a team that can just go for broke, and that's going to make this so much more exciting, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And it's fun that you get to play against these stars in the competitive scene as a small team on a broadcast. I don't know. I think this is always just such a great opportunity for the lower bracket teams that make it to the semifinals to really show what they're capable of and to, get their names out there, maybe get a couple new fans because we all know that most people will be watching for Gorilla. Very, very popular team, and rightfully so. But yeah, also make sure to cheer for Imperium as well. Just they deserve it.
I feel like I'm always cheering for the tiebreaker just because I want to see more and more games.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, one fun fact about the other semifinal that we are not gonna broadcast, but Team Rocket was allowed to get their hands on the first. And if you're familiar with Rocket, you might know about a tiny streak that he's been doing on stream. Like a couple weeks ago, he got the world record win streak on the first up to 237 before losing it in a heartbreaking nail biter of a match on Nostromo. So yeah, would have been really fun to see. We've yet to see the first on Tenax. And the only time I've seen the guy in competitive Dead by Daylight has been in the Hens Invitational. And it would have been really fun to watch it. But maybe we'll get it in the finals. We are getting the lobby
I hope so.
ready. And we're loading in with Team Gorilla on Killer side and Imperium on the Survivors. Again, this is going to be the Dark Lord on Family Residence 2. Expect chases to be pretty short. The loops are pretty unsafe against both the wolf and the vampire form. And keep an eye out for very tough 3 to 4 gen setups on this map. We're seeing a pretty standard build, Obi deciding to opt for Wretched Fate over something like Ruin, goes into the wolf form to try and find some send ups early, looking for the first survivor to chase near this shack area.
Yeah, they'd be very experienced with this one, and Obi definitely would be. He'd be looking to prove himself here and
Oh my god.
show just how good he can be. He's found 2 of them very early, which is a good start.
Yeah, great awareness by Obi to see the crow on that rock flying up, finds a tag onto Dylan as well as Yuna. Yuna is today's emergency sub for Team Imperium, so pretty big task on their shoulders as Obi is able to convert the second pounds into a down as the survivors have barely gotten started on these generators. First hook coming through, Pain Resonance, hitting the gen of Maka. Pretty good start for Obi. This is at the edge of the map, which means survivors have to do a pretty dangerous rotation to get this Anuk. And then they're kind of stuck in this shack area with lots of places for Obi to use his bad form teleport towards as he is looking for the Unhooker. And I think he spotted someone behind that tree. He sure did. Gets the tag onto Jake, who can no longer further people. And it's not even, oh my god, it's barely a trade as Apophis goes down. And Dylan has to run for their life, not to go to second stage too soon.
Wins the 50-50, Dylan. It was a good decision there from Obi just to stick around the hook. Managed to catch them out big time.
Yeah, Obi is going to pick up Aphosis to get the second Pain Resonance. Unfortunately, the wolf form is super hard to track just because they're so small, and losing the mind game on the pallet gym quite unfortunate. Luckily, Maka is there for the pickup on to Dylan, who's also got their sprint burst back, I think, able to make a tiny bit of distance and dodging the second pounce. Dylan needs a really good run here. Oh, as they dropped the pallet from the wrong side. That's unfortunate.
I was going to say Obi probably wishing he had the third pounce from 2v8 there, but he didn't need it. He managed to catch up very quickly and get the down anyway.
And he sees the injured Yuna in the distance as well. This is falling apart for Imperium way too quickly. They don't really have the time to have anybody on the generators. Obi sees every rotation, every time. What can our Lara Croft do here? Goes down to the second pounce. Unfortunate. And Obi is gonna slug for pressure. Gonna try and catch the rotation and protect his hooked survivor.
Yeah, getting a survivor dead on 5 gens here would be a huge start from Obi.
He just finds the rotation every single time. There's just nothing these survivors can do. Apophis was really trying to be even more sneaky this time, to get the further people onto the tunnel out, but finds himself at the edge of the map again. Obi going for a crazy Hellfire shot. Unfortunately not landing it. Are we looking at a 4k5, Stumpy?
We could be. It's looking very possible. He's got one on the floor, one on the hook that should die soon if he sticks around. It could definitely happen.
Yeah, and usually if you talk about not getting Wretched Fate value, it's because your perk gets cleansed immediately. I don't think I've ever seen the perk not activate in the first place. This is such a rough spot for Team Imperium to be in. And Dylan just gets grabbed, and this will be the first elimination for Obi at 5 gens remaining.
Yeah, that's huge, and I don't think there's too many gens with massive progress. Obviously, we can hear one with just a little bit there to the left, but they'd really need to start thinking about getting a gen done soon.
Yeah, it's just Obi has been on point, punishing every mistake methodically, finding every rotation, finding the injured survivors, finding the only gen that they're currently working. And Yuna just has to stealth and pray. Blast Mine is in place, so maybe we can get a cheeky unhook while the killer is stunned. But Obi is just looking for the unhooker or the injured survivor. And he finds them. He always finds them.
Yeah, we'll be showing serious knowledge to just find someone new every time he needs to, or every time he's looking. He always seems to be looking in the right place. That's just years of playing coming in there.
Yeah, Obi, probably one of the most experienced killer players out there, really made his name, well, made a name for himself on Eternum, then really found his footing on Calamity, and then found his place on Elysium, sharing the killer spot with Xeno, which, pretty big shoes to fill. It's very rare that Xeno gives up the killer position to anybody else, so definitely already saw a lot of potential in Obi a couple years back, as many people did. Obviously, Obi, a fan favorite, has been a top tier killer for a while now, as he barely misses the Hellfire onto Apophis. Yuna is back on the ground, and Maka is trying to get the pickup. Yeah, Apophis on second hook as well, so this is going to be the second elimination, as Obi barely misses the M1 there.
Yeah, and it goes to show like that was probably one of their best chases so far, but it's still very quick and they don't have much time to do anything. They will, I think, get the reset, but that's about it. Now it's a 2v1, still no gens done. It's not looking good for our survivors.
Yeah, the medkit has also been used already, so no way for Maka to self-reset. They will just have to try and split two gens on opposite sides of the map and pray that they can turn this into a 4K fall somehow. But even if they can, that is not gonna be an obtainable win condition against Team Gorilla, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I think any team going into a match thinking, oh, we don't have to get any gens done, are probably going to be very happy.
What a crazy win condition, right? You just pop one generator and then you're good to go. I don't know, this was just flawlessly played by Obi, but again, the stealth was unfortunately not as good as it needed to be, as Obi misses another M1 in the wolf form. And another one. Maybe not too used to the third-person camera. No. Of course, he's very used to that, as another pain resonance comes through, completely negating any chance of Yuna finishing their generator. And yeah, this is just a matter of time. Another crow gets disturbed. Let's see if Obi saw it. Obi saw it. What a surprise.
Absolutely did.
Yeah, the slow vault onto the pallet. This doesn't feel good on the server side, right? You see these great players perform in tournaments, and you're like, wow, we get a chance of going against them. Yeah, it's a bit of a different league sometimes, as Yuna gets moried by the Dark Lord. Fuck F5 for Team Gorilla. What a way to start things off.
Yeah, it's an amazing start for Team Gorilla. They genuinely just couldn't have asked for any better. That is the absolute best you can get. And if Obi doesn't play this killer usually for his team, he's definitely made a strong case for himself here today.
Yeah, absolutely stunning performance. This might be a quick 2-0 because this is gonna be pretty tough for the mental in the first place. Of course, you mentioned earlier that Team Imperium is playing with nothing to lose, right? They're the absolute underdogs. They already did a great job just making it to the semifinals in the first place. So, but yeah, it doesn't feel good, right? It just all went wrong immediately at the start. First chase got found very early. Then the rotations have all been caught out by OP. Just flawless gameplay, aside from missing those couple of M1s. But in the end, it didn't quite hard.
Yeah, Obi seemed to unlock his sixth sense there and was just, he knew where the survivors were. He unlocked the matrix. He knew, okay, you're hooked, but there's one over there behind that rock, and I know there is. He's just, his knowledge in that match was crazy.
Yeah,
He just seemed to find everybody at every attempt.
Just immediately realizing, okay, it was not you who disturbed the crow. There's someone else hiding here. Starting the game off with 2 injuries immediately. The pressure was just way too much. And yeah, Wretched Fate, bit of a wasted perk, I won't lie. Maybe we're not bringing that one in the future anymore.
Yeah, definitely didn't seem to want to use it at all.
But yeah, let's see if they potentially have an unknown specialist, since it's been the set that they picked. So hopefully they can perform on that one.
Mhm. You'd wonder then, you've got to show a serious like mental strength now to go into the next game, because that was very one-sided and an insane result to happen against you. But that team Imperium will want to lift themselves. They'll want to show a better account of themselves in this next set and really strut their stuff and show why they're in the semi-final.
Yeah, it's just so hard when you're playing in the big leagues, just knowing that you're not prepared.
Yeah.
It just feels different when everything just goes wrong and the killer just perfectly capitalizes on every single mistake. And it's not even unsalvageable mistakes, but Obi he just knows how to punish them.
Yeah, and on the flip side of that, imagine the confidence that gives Team Gorilla. Having watched your killer do that, you'd be thinking, okay, we're on here. We're on for a big win. That's what they'll be thinking. That's what they'll be hoping for, and they'll be looking very much at that, at winning the whole thing now. Whenever their killer's in this form straight off the bat.
Yeah. As we are seeing the survivors get ready. The roster is going to be Dan, Kexo, Anna, and Spitz. Pretty strong. What is it going to be,
Yeah,
Spitz, or
very
is it
strong.
going to be someone else? He just left the lobby again. And yeah, of course, this is literally unwinnable. The team is doing us a great favor in playing this one out, just because, this is, let's face it, literally unwinnable. Which
Yeah.
means they know that they still have to play. And yeah, thank you to Imperium for agreeing to do so.
Oh, Spitz is back in. He must be part of the team for this one.
Changed the head cosmetic real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be an interesting one to see, regardless of the result that we know already. It's going to be interesting to see how these survivors counter the killer, and we'll learn a lot here. And obviously, it'll obviously get them warmed up ahead of their next set, which mightn't be so easy. So they'll want to play this out.
Exactly. You'll get the nerves out of the way. You're truly playing with nothing to lose in the second set. And there is a lot of nerves involved. This is a stage game that is being streamed against a really popular team with lots of big names on them. And these names are not big because, Spitz has a successful stream. No, he's also one of the best survivors in the world, as are his teammates, and a great killer player to boot as well. So yeah,
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's
it's
very tough going against a big scary team like Imperium, but Gorilla are doing really well to compose themselves here. So they are.
absolutely. But yeah, I actually had the pleasure to do some scrims with Anya as they were preparing for Champions of the Fog tournament. And she's great. So really, really happy to see her play. Also, her team, Unholy, team you should definitely check out. Lots of great people on there. It's always so nice for me to see women succeed in competitive DBD, because obviously this is a very male dominated space. So it just really makes me happy to see some badass women out there competing with the best of them. Sorry for that little shout out, but I think it's always nice to see.
I think it definitely tells the tale where if you were looking at this team, you would not pick any one of them out as the one you wanted to chase, because they're all absolutely cracked.
Yes.
And they're all names that everybody knows, and you're going to be looking going, oof, who do I go for first?
Spitz on finesse, now that's just unfair. How are you ever gonna hit that guy? But Hope is gonna make something happen here. Unfortunately, biting the door frame there. Switching to the vampire form, charging up the Hellfire. Spitz gets punished on the vault. M1 coming through from Hope. As The team is already working away at those generators. Spitz taking the chase into Corrupt Intervention, playing on this maze tile, keeping great track of the wolf farm. It's a tiny bit mind game there, but still might be able to make it to the pallet, jukes the wolf pounds, and Hope is under a lot of pressure already.
Yeah, it was a very nice dodge from Spitz, and then even gets the fastball too.
This is also
is
the
an
Iron
insane
Will
chase
survivor,
already.
so even if you were to chase in bad form, you would have a really hard time. Great check spot on that locker. Really beautiful to see.
Wins the 50-50 as well.
And Spitz is just locked in. This is not fair. As he finally goes down, but it looks like off in the distance, Team Gorilla is ready to meet the win condition, hopping 1 out of 2 gens. Hope just quickly checking around for a potential flashlight save. Sees a very tempting Scourge Pain Resonance, but then pops the first generator, win condition met. 1-0 up for Team Gorilla. Kexer gets another one. As Anna's Gen, I'm so sorry, gets interrupted by the pain res.
Yeah, and this team, Gorilla, just doing exactly what they need to, pumping out the gens while Spitz takes a great first chase. They obviously playing it out as if the win condition was higher than it is. It's good practice for them ahead of their next set, as we've said already, so they'll be wanting to make sure when you're not in chase, you're on that generator and putting more pressure on the killer.
Yes, and I love when a team shows professionalism, right? This is Imperium being the underdogs and Gorilla, what a Kexo threading the needle there, not dodging the Hellfire, knowing he's just out of range, winning the mind games against the wolf farm, gets the pallet drop perfectly. And jukes the pounds as well. Oh my goodness. Gorillas are locked in today.
Yeah, and you can tell the experience against this killer. That's 2 of them now we've watched dodge the pounds expertly.
Oh, no. Dan, the
And they could be
flashlight,
setting
don't
up here.
do it to him. As he does it to him. Beautiful flashlight save by Dan as the 3rd generator pops. But what I wanted to point out, I love that Team Gorilla is playing this out properly, giving it their all, because Team Imperium deserves the respect, right? They're here, they're competing, and treating them with respect is absolutely the right thing to do. There's no unnecessary joking around. And I love seeing that. It's just good sportsmanship, which is great to see from some of the best players that the scene has to offer.
Yeah, it definitely is. And it would be big as well for Imperium getting to say that you've went against such a good team and some of the best players in the whole thing.
Oh my god. Sneaky V, as Hope probably sees Dan there in the 3rd person camera.
Yeah, Kexo trying to beat out his teammate like any good Nancy.
They're just playing these tiles to perfection. It's beautiful to see, but it's also heartbreaking for Hope. Just such an uphill battle to fight. But gets a basement hook here. Basement in main building, which means no pain resonance. But the unhook is going to be very hard. Izana already gets into position for the unhook. Was it not a basement hook? No, decides to... Wait. Okay, it was a basement hook. Sorry, the terror radius was a little bit confusing to me.
We did see good patience as well from Hope not to go with the Hellfire against Kexo and to just get the M1 in the end up.
Oh my god, the timing on that was so good by Dan. But Hope can just hold the Hellfire here. Don't be too hasty. Unfortunately, didn't get the endurance hit onto Kexo. Dan goes down in the basement. Just a clean trade. But hey, it's another fresh hook for Hope.
Yeah. Always good to see. Dan seems to be some sort of master of stealth today. That's twice now we've seen him just sneaking around, but Spitz is doing his best impression here as well.
Yeah, they are definitely playing very aggressively for these basement unhooks, which I would not recommend if the win condition has not been met yet. But of course, the win condition has been met, so this is all fair game. Beautiful body block coming through from Hope.
Yeah.
Waiting out the full 15 seconds onto Dan there. Gets it down through the window. Very well played.
Yeah, really good body blocks from Hope there. Just worried about a survivor coming in from behind.
Okay, guys, we gotta give up this basement hook. Agitation is in play. I don't think our survivor is gonna wiggle. Okay, Hope actually decides not to hook in the basement this time. Chooses this edge map hook instead. Damned now on death hook, as we see Anna working away. Calls out Kexo, who went for the body block and the unhook immediately. Aw, Kexo is so good at those body blocks, as we just see Dan mending in the distance.
Yeah, they're playing really well here, and what they're actually doing as well is buying a lot of time for Anna to get that last generator done and finish this map or this match off.
Yeah. Okay. Of course, the Gorilla survivors did have a tiny bit of fun there, as the last generator pops, and Kexo returns to the cozy basement of Hope. I don't think you'll be leaving this one. You never know. The survivors are resetting. The gate is not too far away. Maybe they're gonna go for a play here. Dan getting his sprint burst ready. Hope checking lockers. Expecting some tomfoolery.
You can never be too sure.
But yeah, this should just be outs for Team Gorilla, and that should take us to the next set. Unknown on Dead Sands.
Yeah, still a solid performance as well from our killer when you think about the opposition.
Yes.
It's really good getting those states against them. The body blocks coming.
Yeah, well played by both teams. Gorilla, as we established, goes up 1-0. And some really good plays by Hope. But with that win condition, you're just gonna play a little bit demoralized in the first place because you cannot win. So, Hope, well played. Let's hope we can see a bit of a more fair win con in the unknown set, where Hope will be killing again first. It's just so impressive how well the Gorilla survivors just used that single maze tile in the corner of the map. Pallet already gone, Kexo just holding great distance, getting the vault perfectly every single time, not losing 50s. It's just such a strong survivor team that you have to somehow deal with.
I feel like as well, Spitz has this unique ability of showing us a new check spot every single time we watch him. I mean, that one behind the locker was crazy. I don't think I've ever even looked at that before until I seen him using it. And I was like, must use that in the future.
There's a lot of cheeky ones that you can find. One very fun one is on if you have this on Macmillan, there is a locker that can spawn, and on that locker, you get an idle crow, and you can check spots by looking at the crow. And when the crow gets disturbed, you know that the killer went past a certain check spot. There is some wild stuff in
God.
this game at the highest of the highest level.
Yeah, that's big brain thinking. That's what it is. That's like whenever people ask, "Oh, why do you watch comp DVD?" It's things like that. You learn so much from watching people play at the highest level.
Yeah, and they're just executing the basic stuff so well too. Just always clean on the fast vault, just super solid in chase every time. And if you talk about DBD as just camping and winning 50s, well, just win your 50s if it's that easy.
Yeah, it's never that easy. Well, yeah, now we're into Imperium's pick. We're going to see the unknown and maybe see some spicy shots. We can only hope.
Yeah, again, that sounds more of an open map compared to Wrecker's Yard. So
Mhm.
it also has those weird bumps all over the floor, like the little dunes, the little sand hills.
Yep.
That can make your UVX oh so tiltingly difficult to land. You can also crouch tag Billy on those, by the way. So great feature.
Oh. Yeah. Best thing they've put into this game in a long time.
Yeah, but that sense is people are experimenting with it as successor or alternative to Wrecker's Yard, which has been in the heavy competition for years now.
Mhm.
And we're seeing killers like Unknown, like Spirit, that are usually played on Wrecker's Yard on Dead Sands, just to make it a little bit more killer favored, in my opinion.
Mhm.
We've also seen Clown there. So the whole Wreckers crew gets put into the desert. See how they handle it.
Get a bit of a tan while they play instead.
It's probably gonna be horrible for the spirit being like a demon that's like a vengeance demon. I don't know. They probably really don't like the sun.
Yeah, this is where we see them try their pick and see just how good they're going to be at it. Do you think they picked it because maybe Gorilla mightn't have practiced this killer as much?
Well, people call Unknown a 50 set. Like you either hit the power or you're completely harmless the entire time. So
Mhm.
maybe they identified that as their best chance of getting a win here. Very good start, getting an early M1 onto Spitz. He also only has the Smash It to work with, so no very strong exhaustion perk for him, unless he can get that stun. Dodging the UVX just barely on the shack. And we are seeing batteries included from Hope and brutal strength, so a very chase-oriented build here, hoping to catch survivors off guard by the faster breaking speed. We have been seeing a bit of experimentation on Unknown with both Brutal and Bamboozle, just leaning into more of an M1 heavy playstyle as the UVX shot onto Dan unfortunately gets dodged. See Spitz and Kexo doubling this top mid generator. Spitz, so patient, gets the dodge and now wins this pallet as well, juking the M1 perfectly, and does get infected or weakened by the UVX. Very patient on the pallet drop, but Hope is even more patient. Oh, what a beautiful shot. Great angle. Leads to the first down. Onto Spitz. Dan gets called out. No more flashlight saves for you. Hope going for some crazy shots here. As
Yeah,
he
Hope
gets
didn't want to risk the flashlight save there.
the first hook of the game. This is relatively good pace for a non-player.
Yeah, and the pain res comes through as well to give a bit of information too, because you know they're on a generator somewhere.
He finds the reset. He also has the haste from batteries included, as well as a UVX weakened onto Kexo. And these injuries against the Unknown, they tend to stick because reset perks are not allowed. Man, it's just not fair. Just let a poor Unknown look down instead of being so damn jukeable. Dan, great patience, wins the 50 on the Shack pallet, doesn't even have to drop it, and plays this tile beautifully as well.
Yeah, we're seeing some really nice looping here and really nice reaction to the UVX and how to dodge it. A lot of the time they are running at the killer, which typically you wouldn't do, but in this case is a great move.
Yeah, and then it just comes down to who is more patient. Is the Unknown gonna shoot? Is the Survivor gonna keep dodging? And it's all about those little mind games as we barely miss our shot onto Dan. The TL wall now entity blocked from vaulting too many times. Just such a clinical chase coming through from Dan, leaving Hope a bit out of breath here. As another pallet gets dropped, just buying so much time after the start was looking so good.
Yeah, this is such good pathing from Dan and some really nice dodges as well. It's one of those chases that maybe our killer should think about leaving, but just doesn't want to.
Very rough, gets the reverse stun there, unzones himself from the edge map. Ooh, good patience by Hope. Zoning Dan into this next tile, gets the UVX shot to connect. And Dan has a very unsafe fall lane to work with here. This might be another down, but he does go down under the pallet, and Hope is gonna be paranoid. Knows that the gen has high progress. He saw a Kexo there. He does find him. Gets
Oh.
the teleport and run onto Kexo. He's gonna think twice if he's gonna go for this altruistic play. Hope picks up, and no survivors there to get the save.
Yeah, we're seeing
Second
a
threat.
lot more patience from Hope now because obviously they are dodging last second or coming back last second, and they've just got to be a little bit more crafty with their power. They're starting to realize.
Oh, I don't like this call. He's just leaving his hook. He had a hook on a high Propus gem and decides to not camp it and instead go for Kexo, who does get hit by the weekend. And Hope wins the mind game beautifully and capitalizes on this down. Please don't do it to him.
Oh no.
Oh, that's what I was talking about earlier. On this patch, it is super hard for the survivors to get pallet saves from the side that the killer is blocking. For some reason, this patch made it so that you need to be in on the right side and that pallet vacuums don't work on pallet saves anymore. It's really unfortunate. I hope they change it back because pallet saves are done.
Oh.
Pallet saves are one of the most skill expressive things about DBD. Dan gets grabbed out of the locker. Not much to play on the 4 lane once the pallet is dropped. Anna goes for the reset onto Kexo as Spitze gets teleported on. Oh, wins out on the. Oh my god, that's nasty. That's just nasty. Cleanses the. Cleanses the hallucination mid chase. I don't know if that's a controller moment or if that's a bit of hubris. It's weakened again. But Dan is still on the hook, and the last generator is yet to be repaired.
This just seems to be winning 50 after 50 after 50 here and really showing the absolute best way to play Survivor.
Yeah, and you always see once once the second shot does not connect, it's impossible to follow up with the UVX. You know that you cannot connect it, but you always try because you kind of have to make something happen. As Hope goes for a swing through the pallet, but Kexel holding a different check spot. Dan dodges the UVX as well. But if Hope can go for a tunnel out here, maybe something is possible. Has the haste from batteries active now?
Ooh. Seen a few nice shots.
Yeah, I just expect a body block to come through here. Spitz is hovering, ready to prevent Dan from getting tunneled out. But
Yeah,
Dan also
flashbacks.
has Dan has a very strong park that might come into play any second now. It's adrenaline, and all of Hope's work is gonna be for nothing in just a second. Yep, there we go.
Just
Now,
as he pulls up the power as well.
what Hope has to try and do here is to find Anna, who represents another fresh hook. But Anna is already on the gate, already has it open. And this is going to be 4 stages, 3 fresh for Team Imperium. Honestly, this is not a horrible result. You would have liked to maybe get one more fresh hook in there as we saw Hope try at the very end, but unfortunately not able to quite get it. Yet again, unknown sets are very, very. What's the opposite of volatile? They're very, very calm most of the time. You can get away with low stages, so let's hope that Imperium can make it happen.
Yeah, it was really nicely worked by Gorilla to make sure their Survivor with adrenaline was the one in chase coming into that end game too. They played that really well and just seemed to play it to the book the whole way through. There must have been flashbacks as well for our killer at one stage there, seeing all the survivors around and going, "Oh no, not again."
Yeah, even if you haven't practiced Unknown in a bit, you're still gonna be very, very familiar with the set and how to juke this killer. And yeah, it's just the survivors showing that they're world class. There's just nothing else to say. But yeah, if you're enjoying the broadcast so far, if you like watching teams like Gorilla, like Team Rocket, consider giving us a follow because correct media allows us to make these tournaments happen bi-weekly. We have lots of exciting stuff planned for the future, and we're so happy that all of you are here and watching and cheering for your favorite teams.
Yeah, it's always good to see some familiar names in here showing their stuff. And it's 2026 has been a lot of fun watching Tenax so far. So hopefully bigger and better things to come, and it'll just keep getting better and better every 2 weeks at a time.
Yeah, and I cannot recommend playing in Tenax enough. I played myself yesterday, and it's just nice to get your feet wet in a tournament setting, to see where you stand against better teams, to potentially advance and get to play more. But hey, if you lose, it's just the best of one, and you can
Mhm.
go on with your evening. I had a soul-crushing result on Spirit myself yesterday, and afterwards I just went offline and did some chores.
Fair.
When you're so tilted that you start being productive. Do you ever do that?
Yes, actually, there's sometimes where I'm like, right, I need a break from DVD. What can I do?
I'm glad that it's not just me. Oh, we have a familiar name on the Imperium roster. They're fielding Tillian from Team Mercy, so a very welcome sub for them since they are unable to field their main roster today. Let's see if that is just what they need to make the score 1-1 to get to the tiebreaker and maybe to show their prowess on the Lich set.
Yeah, it would be an insane comeback if they could pull it off. It's gonna be very tough because obviously we know what to expect from our killer, but we'll see when we get in here. We'll see what they can do and if they can take some good chases. Maybe just put a bit of pressure on Obi and see
Yeah,
what it leads to.
we've seen a full-on reverse sweep just in the last grand finals, so anything can happen here. Very, very similar build coming through from Obi. Instead of going for the brutal strength, he elects to choose Eruption for a tiny bit more regression, and instead of the blurry photo, he goes for the stopwatch, making survivors exhausted. There are very few exhaustion perks allowed in this set, as Obi wins 50 against Tillian, but the ones that are in place will be shut down by that. Unfortunately, aiming the UVX just a tiny bit too high on this shack entrance. And Tillian just gets full on
Oh.
mind gamed on shack. That never happened to me personally. I think this is the first time this has happened to anybody, and it's an incredible play by Obi. Well played.
Yeah, that was really nicely done by Obi, obviously knowing there's only one window on that side, and while the line of sight was broken, he could just back up, come around the same corner, and get that hit.
Listen, we always talk about heartbeat reading and check spots, but if the tier 1 pros are making mistakes like that, I don't have to feel bad about getting mind gamed on shack myself, right? That's just how it works.
Absolutely.
It happens to everybody at all skill levels. But so far, great stun from Apophis has this very nice double pallet setup to play. Killer is always forced to break one of the two pallets. Otherwise, the
Ooh.
loop is just too safe. Gets a nice UVX shot onto Apophis. As Obi TPs back to his basement hook. Basement hook at 5 gens. It's a pretty good position to be in.
Definitely, and that was a really nice shot to hit straight after that. Just unexpected. As soon as you break the pallet, fire one off, and it came off for him.
I'm a bit surprised because our survivors, the first chase, oh my god, he hits the snipe. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Our first chase was quite, it was not the longest, but we're just kind of lacking a bit of gen progress right now as Apophis avoids the UVX, but that is a bit of
Yeah.
ping coming through. Obi gets the down, Tillian hits stage 2. Our survivors are struggling just a tiny bit here. As good
This
boy
was the issue
Keelan.
for them the first game.
Yeah, it's just too much pressure too fast. It's
Hmm.
so hard to keep up with if you have a game plan that you're trying to follow. And what makes these top teams truly top tier is that they are able to adapt on the fly. They always have a solution ready at at the, yeah, like snipping your fingers, you know. And yeah, Obi just has a stranglehold on this game as he camps Tillian out of this game at 4 gens remaining. We do see Hope at a very high progress generator, and we do see Keelan going for the pull with a balanced landing. Barely gets it. But we saw that there is a hallucination ready to TP back. Can Obi get the body block? He cannot. So Tillian lives to chase another day.
Yeah, I'm
Holding the
loving seeing
checks
these snipes
properly.
from Obi.
The body block is here as well, able to drop the pallet for your teammate. Oh, nice dodge, really well done. But the TP is here, oh no!
Oh,
Oh, and I think that's the elimination onto Tillian here. Damn, great awareness by Obi to know that even with the dropped Shack pallet, Shack is not safe for the survivors. This is a pain resonance coming through as well, halting the gen progress of our survivors even further.
Yeah, great use of the teleport there from Obi. He seems to be doing everything right here. He's hitting those snipes out of nowhere. He's putting great pressure on. Getting that hook in the middle in the shack was great, but we did see him also hooking in the middle in the last game too. So he seems to like to hook in around that middle, so he always has a bit of access to it, which is always a good move.
Yeah, Bofus gets found on this filler. This is pretty safe, I would say. Of course, this is now a 50, and unfortunately, Apophis loses it. Well played by Obi. And this is pretty close to a generator that is currently being worked on. Unfortunately, Apophis had nowhere else to run.
Obi having a great day for winning the 50s. Everything just seems to be coming up for
Yeah,
him at
for
the moment.
sure. This is one of those unknown games that makes you go like, hey, I should play this killer again. And then you play the killer and you don't want to
You
touch him
never
for
play
a
them
month or
again.
so.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, this is very heavily Gorilla favorite matchup. So please show some love for Imperium in chat. Because again, this is the first time that they're competing and they already made it to the semifinals, and I think they can be super proud of that.
Yeah, they've done really, really well for the first time in the tournament to make it to the semi-final, and you're going out to what is the favourites and who are very well-known names in TBD comp.
Yeah,
It's really impressive.
these are all incredible players on Team Gorilla. And you're probably least familiar with Anna, but as I said earlier, she is also the team captain of a really, really successful team of Team Unholy.
Yeah, it really speaks for this whole team that they can even like take someone out and bring a sub in, and there's no drop in performance. Like if they wanted to swap out Dan now, or if they wanted to swap Kexo and bring in even Obi on the Survivor, there would be no drop.
That's always a pleasure to see.
Yeah.
That's when you know that Xeno has been sleeping extra long. Good 50s from Hope. There is a hallucination on the loop though, that Obi might be able to take advantage of. I'm a bit disappointed that none of our killers are using the bilateral collaboration headpiece for the unknown that we've just gotten from Behavior. It's available for free. If you use the corresponding code. Hope. There's only so many 50s you can win. Finally goes down after a great chase on this filler. And it's gonna be another pain resonance. It's gonna hit the gen that Keelan has been whacking away at.
I think Hope will be really happy with their performance today. Like they've done well on Killer, they've done well on Survivor. They're to take a serious chase against a very, very good unknown. So I think they'll be fairly happy.
For sure. They definitely have done well. And it takes a lot of courage, right? To step up and be like, yeah, I'm gonna play Killer for us. I always do. And these guys are no different than anybody else. I'm just gonna turn the nameplates off and I'm gonna play my game.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I think anybody who plays killer in a comp setting, like, they have to have that level of bravery, because my worst nightmare would be getting out without a hook.
Yeah. No, definitely a decent performance here. As Keelan goes down, unfortunately only has a 4 lane to play for himself. This is going to be the 4th fresh hook, and the win condition already met for Team Gorilla, which means we're gonna see more of them. We're gonna see them in the finals, where they will be facing either Team Rocket or Team Revent.
Yeah, and it's a good, strong performance to be going into a final with. Like, it was very decisive, very strong. This 2-0 win is a lot better to be going into than a just about one tiebreaker, you know. This will give them loads of confidence going into that final, and they'll feel like they can take it home.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm just excited to get a good finals matchup.
Be interesting
So
to see
far,
now. Oh, go on.
so far I know that Team Rocket is up 1-0 in their semifinals, and I
And
think
going into the first set.
yeah, I think their first set was Mastermind, and then it's gonna be their pick of the first and Suffocation Pit. So currently, I would see Team Rocket as favorites of making it into the grand finals, just based on them winning the pick of Team Revent.
Hopefully we see the first in the final, because that would be a really good set to see two very good teams go at.
Yes, and two teams that are very familiar with each other. Obviously, Rocket also playing for Team Invictus, having been in the scene for years at this point, played together with Obi on Team Calamity as well. So, yeah, just everybody played together with each other at some point on the very highest level, unless you're a true newcomer to the scene. It's just really fun to see.
And Obi, of course, will be very disappointed that he's let gens get done this time. Like, a real fall off from him.
His average in the semifinals took a huge nosedive. Only playing for a 4K2 here. It's the teleport on Hope on the Shag. Hope still weakened, but this is not going to be enough for a hit. Oh, Obi swinging at his demons. Swinging at his demons again. Forcing the pallet drop by Hope. Good any means fake coming through. And there.
Oh, I went for it again. And Obi really disliking that rock there.
This is going to be the elimination onto Hope. And in the 2v1 with all survivors injured, it's going to be very unlikely that another gen gets completed.
Yeah, this should be all wrapped up. Another solid performance from Obi, and one he'll be very happy with.
Yeah, and of course it's gonna set the mood for the grand finals as well, right? Everybody coming in with full confidence, having a bit of a giggle and just playing really well. Again, treating their opponents with respect, which I love to see. They say never meet your heroes, but if your heroes play fair and are good sports about it, hey, maybe meet your heroes. Maybe they're really cool. As Apophis goes for a very desperate unhook attempt. Injured. Obi calls it, gets the TP, does not get the UVX though. Man, I've got a comment on Imperium's RNG, because whenever I see them in chase, they're on a 4 lane. So their dead stand spawned with at least 2 4 lanes, which is quite unfortunate. So you see a little Mori coming through. I love the unknown Mori.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
And again, Gorilla advances to the finals. Congratulations, 2-0. Please show some love to Imperium. Well played to them. Thank you so much for also playing out the Dark Lord set. I know it sucks to have to play a win con that is unobtainable. Huge shout out to them. thank you so much for playing, and we hope to see you again in future events. We're gonna take a quick break while the teams figure out picks and bans for the finals, and while we find out who plays in the grand finals in the first place. We might also be able to show you a bit of the other semifinals if we're able to do that. If not, I'm very sorry. But yeah, see you in the grand finals. Thank you so much for watching.